I can't do anything right, I guess. Welcome into the video, everybody. This might be the shortest series that this channel sees ever if things keep going the way that they've been going thus far for me in DFS. If you're new to the series and this is your first time watching it, welcome. I started a series at the beginning of the season, $200 to see how far that we could make it in the NFL season. And I used 25% of my budget each week, and I'm down to 50% of my budget. That's right, you heard right. I have won a whopping one head-to-head out of all the contests that I've done. And a large part of it is the strategy that I've used that's been so successful over the years is just not working this year. And so without further ado, let's just look at the lineup that I went with and kind of the results that happened. So if you look, you'll see that I've been always a big proponent of running backs in cash games. So I always started running back in my flex. That's just always how I've done it. And if you look, I started Javonte, Saquon, and Joe Mixon. Those are the three I chose. Two of those, mind you, were heavy favorites. Mixon and Javonte. Heavy favorites. So I thought for sure the volume was guaranteed. They were going to at least have a high probability at a touchdown. Neither of them scored a touchdown. The Broncos barely beat the Texans. And then Cincinnati lost to Cooper Rush and the Cowboys. And then if you look at Saquon, I mean, I'm just a week late on him, which is tragic. But, I mean, at least he was drafted by 70% of people. But the one that just blows my mind, this is my lock of the week last week, was Davante Adams. He had so many targets in week one. He's going up against the Cardinals, who are horrible in the secondary, just terrible. And he goes out and gives me 2 receptions for 12 yards and a touchdown. Thank goodness. Not that it really did anything, but I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to project something more easy than Davante Adams against the Cardinals. They ended up losing that game, by the way, if you didn't watch. Unexplainable, but whatever. And then my best player on my team was Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch, people. So I don't know. If you followed my advice, I apologize for your miscomings, and you're probably in the same boat as me. That being said, if you're anything like me, you probably get discouraged when you lose. But you need to look at it like a learning experience. Every time you lose, you can build off of that and learn to adapt going into the next week. And one thing I was actually talking to one of the listeners who's been listening since the beginning, Sean, shout out to Sean, is that we're going to try to identify the highest scoring games on the slate. Not based on what Vegas is saying or anything like that. I mean, that obviously plays a factor, but just based on our gut, our feeling, and looking ahead to week 3, I think those games are going to be the Bills and the Dolphins, the Lions and the Vikings, Eagles, Commanders, Rams, Cardinals, and then we may take players from the Bengals, Ravens, the Chiefs, and then where's the other team? Chargers. So the Chargers. So I'm going to try to limit to those, which is a lot, those 12 teams. I'm going to try to limit my player pool to. Obviously, the random player could get in there if they fit the lineup well and if the price point, allows it or whatever. But for the most part, I'm going to try to limit that to a few players. I think this is going to allow us to have a higher floor, higher ceiling, more consistent outcome going forward. And that's what we're going to do. For week 3, that's kind of our nuance that we're going to add. Because like I said, every week you're trying to adapt. You're trying to become more consistent and win as much as you can. So last thing we're going to look at here is my player pool for the upcoming week, week 3. I'm not going to go into detail position by position what I'm going to be looking in. If you want, pause the video, look at it, or I'm going to leave a link in the description below. You can check it out there. It's just going to be a link to this Google Sheet. That way you can see as I update it in real time. Top right is going to be my lineup for the week 3, but obviously that's subject to change. This is an early rough draft of it. And then the last thing I will say is I'm going to be uploading a video later this week for sports betting tips, or not tips necessarily, but my favorite bets of the week, so to speak. So be looking for that. It'll be a short video, nothing too long, kind of like this one. I'm going to try to keep the videos shorter. I know there's a lot of content out there, so not everybody has time to watch 10 to 12-minute videos. So these are going to be more 6 to 8 minutes is going to be the general length I'm going to be aiming to do. But I appreciate you and everybody that watches. But until next time, I will see you at the next video.